The Department of World Languages and Cultures at Georgia State University presents Arabic 1001 Grammar. My name is Ian Campbell, and I will be walking you through the complicated but not especially difficult grammar of basic Arabic. In this first series of lessons, we will be looking at singular nouns and adjectives, and in this particular lesson, we will look at non-human singular nouns. This lesson has several goals: to learn how to say what, this, and that, to learn about the jins or gender of a noun and to differentiate masculine from feminine, to learn the words for common classroom objects, and to begin to understand that Arabic words have roots and patterns. Let's begin with a question. Ma hadha. Ma is our word for what, and hadha is our word for this. We use the little DH in a row to represent the sound in this and that. We're asking what, this. Notice that Arabic has no word for is. This will initially be confusing and you'll quickly get used to it. And our answer is hadha kitab. Kitab is the word for book, and we're just going to put it next to hadha. Again, hadha means this, kitab is book, and we're implying that this is a book. Arabic has no word for is, Arabic has no word for a. So you just have to kind of get used to words being in a row and sorting out how they form into sentences or phrases. Let's take a look at another word. Ma hadha. Again, this means what is this? And the answer is hadha mektab. So mektab can mean desk. It can also mean office. What it really means is a place of writing. We say hadha mektab. And what we mean is this is a desk. So we know two words already. Ma hadha, hadha kitab. Ma hadha, hadha mektab. Now you may notice already that the words kitab and mektab have something in common. They sound similar, and they have the same letters in them. Even if you can't recognize all the Arabic letters yet, you can certainly recognize the funny shape of the letter K and also the letter B on the end. What they have in common is a three-letter root. Kaf is K, ta is T, ba is B, and together they mean to write. So whenever we see a word that has those three letters in that same order, kaf and then ta and then ba, it's going to have something to do with writing. Arabic organizes words this way. It's a little challenging at first, but it will really help you develop your vocabulary later on. Let's look at a couple of new words. Ma hadha. Again, means what this. We really mean what is this. Hadha qalam. A qalam is a pen or a pencil or a marker, something that you write with. Originally it means a reed plucked from a marsh and dipped in ink. Ma hadha? Hadha daftar. And a daftar is a notebook, something you write in. So let's learn the word for and while we're at it. Qalam wa daftar. Qalam wa daftar means a pen and a notebook. Ma hadha? What is this? Hadha bab. A bab is a door or a gateway. It's one of the first words you learn in Arabic because it only uses the first two letters of the alphabet, ba and alif. So a bab is a door. Ma hadha? Hadha kursi. A kursi is a chair. If we have a door and a chair, we say bab wa kursi, because wa is our word for and. Very simple. Ma hadha? Now I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I'm going to use a different word for this. Hadhihi haqiba. Hadhihi is a different word for this. And you might ask yourself, why am I using a different word for this? And the answer is, because all nouns in Arabic have gender. All nouns are either masculine or feminine. There is no it in Arabic. Haqiba, the word for backpack, is a feminine noun, unlike all the other nouns we've seen so far, which are masculine nouns. So I'm going to use different forms of adjectives, different forms of verbs, and different forms of words like this and that to indicate feminine nouns rather than masculine nouns. What's feminine about a backpack? Nothing in particular. Grammatical gender is pretty much arbitrary. You just have to learn with each new noun whether it's masculine or feminine. Fortunately, this is pretty simple in Arabic. I'll look at another noun first. I'll say, ma hadha, what's this? We default to masculine in Arabic, so I'm going to use the masculine gender when I just say, what's this, in general. And what is she writing on? Hadhihi sabura. And a sabura is a blackboard or a chalkboard or a whiteboard. Now, what I want you to notice here is that both of these words, haqiba and sabura, end with the same letter, this little loop with 2 dots above it. It has different forms depending on whether it connects to the letter before it, but that's not important right now. You can probably recognize it's the same letter. Its name is ta marbuta. Ta marbuta. Ta is the name for the letter T, and marbuta means tied up. All you really need to know is to recognize that letter at the end of these 2 words, and to know that that's the usual marker for the feminine gender in Arabic. Words that end with ta marbuta are effectively always feminine. Let's look at some new words. Ma hadha. What's this? I don't know what gender it is, so I use masculine hadha. And the answer is hadhihi nafidha. A nafidha is a window. And again, you can see the letter ta marbuta at the end of nafidha, and that makes it feminine in gender. Ma hadha? Oh, here's a table. We're going to say hadhihi tawila. Hadhihi tawila. And tawila, like nafidha and sabura and haqiba, all end with the letter ta marbuta. In ordinary words, ta marbuta just sounds like an sound. Sometimes it will be pronounced as if it were a ta, but we're not going to worry about that right now. In fact, we won't worry about it for several weeks, so don't think about it. Notice, however, that the word hadhihi ends with a letter that looks an awful lot like ta marbuta without its dots. That's another form of the letter ha, the regular old H. It's kind of confusing at first because they're the same looking letter, and sometimes they look like they refer to the same thing. Again, watch out for the dots and you'll be fine. Now, let's learn a little theory. Al-ism. Al-ism means name. You've probably already learned ismi Ian or ismi Abdurrahman or whatever your name is. So a noun is a name. In fact, in English, the word noun originally comes from the word for name. Nouns in Arabic are rather more complicated than nouns in English. We have to think a little bit more about the different qualities nouns have in Arabic when we're going to use them. It's not rocket science, but it does take a little bit of getting used to, and that's what these lessons are designed to do. A noun denotes a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. A mother is a person. Notice that she ends with ta marbuta, so we know she's a woman. A Medina is a city, also a feminine noun because it ends with ta marbuta. We already know the word kitab for book, but I've put the al in front of it to make it the book. And at the end here we have a thaqafa, culture, an idea, which also ends in ta marbuta, so we know it's a feminine noun. Gender. The Arabic word for gender is jins. It can mean sex, it can mean gender, it can mean type. It's a very multifaceted word. There are 2 genders in Arabic. Again, there is no it in Arabic. Al-dhakar is the word for masculine, and al-untha is the word for feminine. All nouns in Arabic have gender. There are no neuter nouns. What I mean is there is no it. And usually we indicate gender with adjectives. The words, we don't use al-dhakar and al-untha. We call words mudhakkar and mu'annath. Mudhakkar is the word for a masculine noun. Mu'annath is the word for a feminine noun. Other than for people, the relationship between a noun and its grammatical gender is arbitrary. There's no reason why a window and a backpack are feminine and a book and a pen are masculine. It's pretty much arbitrary. You just have to learn the gender of a noun with each noun you learn. Again, it's usually not that difficult. Let's talk about masculine first. Adhakar is the word for masculine, the noun. We usually use the adjective mudhakkar. So the word dhakar can denote both ordinary and grammatical masculinity if we're referring to a male person or animal, for example. The word adhakar is a noun, and mudhakkar, the word we're going to use most of the time, is an adjective. Masculine is the default gender in Arabic. It used to be in English, too, and still sometimes is if you're talking to older people. Nouns that denote male people are mudhakkar, with almost no exceptions, and none that are remotely relevant for this course. Nouns that do not end with ta marbuta are nearly always mudhakkar, but there are a couple of dozen common exceptions to this, which we'll take up as we go along and not in this lesson. Let's look at feminine. Al-untha is the noun, mu'annath is the adjective. The word al-untha can denote both ordinary and grammatical femininity. The word al-untha is a noun, and mu'annath, the word we're going to use most of the time here, is an adjective. Nouns that denote female people are mu'annath with basically no exceptions. Nouns that end with ta marbuta are effectively always mu'annath. Let's look at some common words. Can you decide what their three-letter root is, which is a little tricky at first, so I'll walk you through it, and whether they're masculine or feminine? We're going to go from right to left like we always do in Arabic. So let's look at the first word, qalam. Qalam is our word for pen. Its root is obvious, qaf, and then lam, and then mim. It only has 3 letters, so it's pretty easy to pick out the 3-letter root. And it's a masculine noun because it doesn't end in ta marbuta. Let's look at the next word, haqiba. Haqiba is our word for backpack, and it will be very easy for you to see that it's feminine, mu'annath, because it has ta marbuta at the end. It's a little bit trickier, especially at first, to pick out the 3-letter root, but you will quickly learn that long vowel ya in between the second and third letter is rarely part of the root. So its root here is ha, qaf, ba. Again, if you're a little bewildered by the idea of root, go ahead and be bewildered. It's not super important right this second. I'm just trying to put this in the back of your head so it will make sense in later lessons. And haqiba is obviously feminine because it ends in ta marbuta. Kitab is our word for book, and it shares the kaf ta ba root with maktab, desk or office, right next to it, and it's mudhakkar. Let's learn this word, mudhakkar. It means masculine. Maktab, office or desk, has the same root, and that's how we know that they have similar meanings. And kaf ta ba, ktb, means to write, and this word is mudhakkar or masculine as well because it doesn't end with ta marbuta. Next, we have tawila, table, and you'll be able to sort out pretty soon that it's pretty obvious that its root is ta, waw, and lam. Don't worry about it right now. Again, this is a skill you're going to develop passively as we go through these lessons. And this word ends with ta marbuta, so we know that it's mu'annath or feminine as well. Say mu'annath out loud. Try to get the uh-oh sound in the middle of the word, mu'annath. Sabura, our word for blackboard or whiteboard or chalkboard. You will shortly develop the skill to understand quickly that its root is sin ba ra, S-B-R, and it is also mu'annath. It is feminine in gender because it ends with ta marbuta. Let's learn some new words. Ma hadha. What's this? We don't know what it is, so we say hadha instead of hadhihi. And the answer is hadhihi mektaba. A mektaba is a library or a bookstore. It depends on context. And you already know the word mektab, and you know the word kitab, so you can see that these words all have something in common, which is the KTB in that order. This is what I mean when I talk about looking for a word's root. And this word is feminine because it ends with ta marbuta. So a maktab, a desk or an office, is masculine. A maktaba, a library or bookstore, is feminine. This is arbitrary. It has nothing to do with masculinity or femininity in real life. All right, now let's learn a new word. Ma dhalika. When we say ma dhalika, we're not asking what's this. We're asking what's that. This and that, hadha and dhalika, have basically the same relationship in Arabic as they do in English. One is closer, one is farther away, one is first, one is second, that sort of thing. So ma dhalik, what's that? And we can answer the question with dhalika misbah. A misbah is a lamp, and because it doesn't end in ta marbuta, we know that it's masculine. So here are 2 new words. Mektaba, for library or bookstore, it's feminine because it ends with ta marbuta. And misbah, or lamp, which we know is masculine because it doesn't end in ta marbuta. Let's try some more. Ma hadha. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to ask. I'm going to point at it, and my friend is going to say, hadha jidar. Hadha jidar. A jidar is a wall. What gender is it? Well, it doesn't end with ta marbuta, so we know that it's masculine. I can say ma dhalik when I point at this series of university buildings. What's that? And the answer is going to be tilka jamia. Tilka is a new word for us. Tilka is to dhalik as hadhihi is to hadha. Dhalik and hadha are masculine. Hadhihi and tilka are feminine. This is a little tricky to get used to because we use different words in Arabic and we have masculine and feminine words for this and that. So we need 4 words, hadha, hadhihi, dhalika, and tilka, instead of only 2 words, this and that. But it's really not that much of a challenge to get used to, especially here when we only have a few words to work with. So because the word jami'a, university, is feminine because it ends in ta marbuta, we need to say tilka instead of dhalik, like we say if we don't know what gender it is or if it's masculine. Notice also that the word jami'a has the sound ayn in it, which is the weirdest sound that Arabic makes for an English speaker. We represent it with the number 3, because when it's by itself in a word, the ayn looks like a backwards number 3. This is a common innovation from Arabs using text messaging in the internet. So let's look at some vocabulary words. We've learned these words today. Bab is door, jidar is wall, jami'a is university, and it's feminine because it ends in ta marbuta. Haqiba is backpack or bag, and it's feminine because it ends with ta marbuta. Daftar is notebook. It's masculine or mudhakkar because it doesn't end in ta marbuta. Sabura is whiteboard or chalkboard, and it's feminine because it ends in ta marbuta. Misbah is lamp or light, and it's masculine, mudhakkar, because it doesn't end in ta marbuta. Tawila is table or countertop, and it's mu'annath or feminine because it does end with ta marbuta. A qalam is a pen or a pencil or a marker. It doesn't end with ta marbuta, so we know it's mudhakkar or masculine. A kitab is a book. It doesn't end with ta marbuta, so we know it's mudhakkar or masculine. A mektab is a desk or an office. Again, it's mudhakkar. But mektaba, which sounds almost exactly the same and means library or bookstore, does end with ta marbuta, so we know it's mu'annath or feminine. Notice that all 3 of these words have the same 3 letters in a row, kaf or k, ta or t, ba or b. Anything with kaf, ta, ba, k, t, b in that order has something to do with writing. All 3 of these words have the same root. A kursi is a chair. It doesn't end with ta marbuta, so we know that it's mudhakkar or masculine. A nafidha is a window. We know that it does end with ta marbuta, so it's mu'annath or feminine. And then here's 2 new words. A firash is a mattress. We often use it to mean a bed. It doesn't end with ta marbuta, so we know that it's mudhakkar or masculine. A wisada is a pillow or a cushion, and it does end with ta marbuta, so we know it's mu'annath or feminine. Learn our grammatical terms and our question words as well. So we begin with our 4 words for this and that. Hadha is this for masculine nouns or nouns in general. Hadhihi is this for feminine nouns. Dhalika is that for masculine nouns or nouns in general. Tilka is that for feminine nouns. The word ma, when used in a question, means what. It also has a lot of other meanings, but we won't worry about those right now. Mudhakkar is our word for masculine, and mu'annath is our word for feminine. So you already know a bunch of vocabulary words. Now your mission is to be able to identify these objects in class. So do the drills, do the test, listen to the presentations, and make a presentation of your own where you point at objects and say what they are. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.